Can start?
Before we start talking about one of the all-time shooting streaks that we're witnessing, I just wanted to hark back to your pregame when you said you asked Fee to engage with the refs more. Did she misunderstand you and start engaging with other players?
Well, maybe that's a starting point. Maybe I don't know, but two competitive players that are, that are physical and competitive and all of that. So I honestly didn't catch, and I don't know what was happening with any of it. And one time I looked and I was like, who is it? Who is that in there? That's us. Somebody said Fee, and I thought the same thing. I thought, gosh, she misunderstood me.
McBride ties Diana Taurasi
Yeah.
with most threes made in a two-game stretch in history of this league.
Yeah.
Taurasi needed 28 of them to do it. McBride did it in 23. I mean, you've been in this league a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, just how special is what you've seen out of her the last two games?
Yeah, I think K-Mac's name should be on top, given that tiebreak with the field goal percentage. So we'll say K-Mac is the winner of the two-game streak. I just think, I said it before. She's in just, I think in terms of how shooters feel and when they're open and the confidence and her release and I think her teammates finding her. I think she's getting easier threes than maybe she got last season. There's more to worry about, and I think that maybe has contributed. So her teammates around her, finding her, in a good time, when a defense is in rotation. But credit to her, obviously, 'cause she's got to do the hard work. She's got to make the shot. But it's been pretty incredible.
I'd like to know what you said to him at halftime. It was a pretty tough second quarter, and then they just came out and you guys were a different team.
Yeah, just some things we needed to clean up. We were giving a lot of offense off of our really poor. Giving them offense off of our really poor decision-making offensively. We were pretty frustrated with fueling them. We know that's a big thing. Seattle's been terrific in this 6-game streak, really, since the last time we saw them. Their defense is really, it's going into today's game past ours in terms of the defensive rating. So they've really been hanging their hat there. And so we really needed to clean up things offensively. And we felt like if we could do that and score the ball, and we shot 50% in the second half, that means we get our defense set and we could, maybe do a little bit better instead of having to play transition defense off of poor decisions.
Coach, another game, Olivia comes in and makes a huge impact, second leading rebounder on the team tonight, and then also tied for first with assists in only 14 minutes. Just talk about the impact that she makes when she comes in off the bench and how she just ignites the team.
Yeah, she's got a relatively easy job when she comes in because she's so unique to the rest of the team. It's so natural for her to play with the speed and the pace and the aggression. It's unlike any other player on the roster. And we felt like it was of paramount importance that we had a player like that. Apupa won the job to be able to do that. We were reluctant maybe early, not reluctant, but still trying to find our way. I think we've learned a lot, in the first 10 games, just about our problem or our pain points. And who could relieve them, and Ollie's been the one that's been given the opportunity and has made the most of it. Yeah, it was big. Yeah, it was. I felt like that too. Anything you can get easy to score on these guys because defensively they're really good. They were finding their way to some easy ones. I thought we cleaned it up in the second half, so we needed to find our way, and that was a big one.
Coach, turnovers in the first quarter seem to be kind of a sticking point with this team. Is that just trying to do too much in the first quarter, or I wonder if you found any trends with?
I don't know that we're playing with a great enough pace. We're letting people kind of get to us. We're not doing the punching. You look at when we get down, we come out in the third quarter and look at how we flew around. Look at how we were cutting, playing more free. Maybe a little more analyzing. I don't know, but we got to solve that and just come out with a little more aggression and seeking the paint and playing well in our pick and roll game. Once we got that going and found bigs in the middle of the paint making decisions, and things opened up for us.
And then Fee, another great game tonight. Before the season, you kind of said that her being at that MVP candidate level was expectation for this team.
Yeah.
What have you seen from her from last year to this year that's really kind of put her in that realm?
More of the same. And now adding, if you notice with Fee, where she's taking more perimeter shots, and still with efficiency. That's the next layer. And so doing that and bringing out her bigs so she can better position herself. If a big wants to come out there, then maybe she can get off the bounce and just be able to score. Really, she's a 3-level scorer. She's able to play the mid-range. She's able, obviously, to play at the rim. And now the willingness. We've got a number for her that we're trying to get her to as far as taking threes. And it's not a hunting threes. It's when it comes out to you in rhythm. She has this mindset sometimes that I shouldn't shoot this, and we're saying why not? You're shooting. What's her percentage? Is she close to 35? 30. What is it? 39. You better shoot the darn thing. You know what I mean? Expected point value. Explaining that to her. I know you might be really comfortable taking a 15-footer, on the right wing, but expected point value in the 2 locations. Shoot the 3. And but she'll never leave her game. She'll always be an efficient player, so she never plays too far outside of herself. And but like you said, another great game for her.
Coach, going back to the second half defense and the adjustments, Seattle just had 23 points on 36 shots.
Yeah.
Y'all also won the rebounding battle. What were sort of the biggest things in that sort of to make it a tale of two halves and turn it in from a frustrating game into a close game into kind of a blowout at the end?
Well, we took care of the ball better. Coming out in the third quarter, we scored the ball, right? And then you mentioned the offensive rebounds. We were not happy about that. And we really, we harped on that. We're in position. We're not asking the bigs to step up in ball screens and get, let the big get behind you and then all of a sudden they're free on the glass. You're standing right next to someone. And being able to put a body on and compete, because Nneka Ogwumike and Ezi Magbagor are just terrific at what they do. And we're not going to win the jump battle. The quickness of their first jump is greater than the bigs that we have. And so we needed to be more fundamentally sound in finishing plays. And then, Jewel, we needed to put the fire out that Jewel Lloyd, that got going in the first quarter. And it took us a little while. And then I thought we settled in, trying to get her off some spots that we know, she's obviously really good in, and just put more and more pressure on them to have to make some of the harder shots.
Coach, your bench had a really incredible run at the start of the second quarter, and I believe at the end of the start of the fourth, excuse me. To have a bench that you can call upon to not be worrying about losing leads, but in instances gaining leads, how does that give you versatility as a coach to go to them whenever you need them?
Well, like you're saying, it just, it makes you more willing and maybe even a little sooner. It's pride that they have. They've talked about that when they huddle before the game. They talk about just that when we get our moment, we're either going to, worst case scenario, it's going to be the same as when we got in there. And if not, we'd like to help them build a lead. And so they're taking great pride in that.
For BC, you've spoken at length about you want her to be aggressive, you want her to take more shots. She was 4th on her team in shots tonight, made half of them, 3 of 5 from 3. A bit of a downer game last game. Nice to see her respond and see her make her imprint on this one as well. I
thought that was such a great sign. The bounce back game was not her best game. Didn't find her to be terribly aggressive in Phoenix, and then tonight, understanding she needed to help us. We need. We've gone through this last year where we have McBride and Fee, and we're not interested in that. We've got, enough good players that they have help, and you have to be willing to call your number to help them. Obviously, Courtney was trying. Courtney's dad was here, and he's forbidden from Target Center after today. Particularly those seats are sold out the rest of the season. Maybe on the road we can see them, But we know that those guys need help, and BC was stepping up for us today.
Coach, there's been some great basketball played here over the last 13, 14 years. I think there was the 2014 season. Maya started the season with 4 30-point games. So I don't want to get too recency bias, but what you've seen out of Kayla the last 2 games, where does that rank? Just as far as a 2-game stretch around here.
Testing my memory, but like you said, was it 4 or 5 30-point games by Maya, was pretty incredible. But we're only 2 games. I think if we, get into a third game, we could start talking about sort of where it gets to, and that third game being at Vegas would be pretty meaningful to us if she could have another big game there. But she needs help too. So for when the nights that maybe they're, Vegas is certainly watching video of the last 2 games, and there's one thing that they're not going to let have happen. I would imagine it's for McBride to get off, and so we'll find ways to utilize her, try to get her free, but then also use her to benefit our offense.
Cheryl, I'm going to test your memory a little further. Next week, June 12th, marks the 25th anniversary of the first game played here. And next week, on the 17th, also marks the 850th regular season game in franchise history. Can you just give us a quick look back, because you've been here for 57% of that time. Just a quick look back, at least on your tenure here. A lot of highs, few lows.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at from 2010 through what I see is, and I know prior to my arrival, so since 1999, the passion that the community has had for the team is what stands out for me. I came here as a visitor, and it made it an appealing situation to be here when the position opened, and so what I think of is the sort of the passion, and I think our fans are competitive. It's kind of a weird thing to say about fans, but our fans are competitive, and full of suggestions, and I really appreciate them. So they've gotten me through, some tough moments, but that's I think of Glenn and Becky. I think the icons that they are sitting where they sit, and that they don't live here in Minneapolis, and the drive that they make to and fro every time, to be here for us. So I think of so many great things, and obviously I think of terrific basketball that we've treated our fans and our owners to. Like you said, mostly highs. There's a couple tougher memories, and not being able to win back-to-back championships. But when I walk into the Target Center, those 4 banners, that's what I think of.
3-0 against Seattle so far this season. They've only lost one other game to a team not named the Lynx. Just wanted to know your thoughts on that, if there's anything that you guys have seen that's worked especially well. Or
honestly, this game today was exactly what we thought it would be, in terms of 2 teams playing great and them playing a little better than us with a 6-game win streak. And we knew the challenge. I was very concerned, about our, sort of schedule and where we are in the schedule, and whether we would, we didn't shoot around this morning. We were trying to, be able to be our best physically, because we knew what it was going to take. The physical and mental toughness to compete against these guys. The moment that I'm really pleased with was as they were, it's a dogfight, and we're going back and forth, and I think we got a 7-point lead, and they might have cut it to 5, so we turned it over again, in the 4th. And all I think about is how, we have got to close games that we have a lead on, and this was really important. And I was disappointed in Phoenix with my ability to help the team with less than 2 minutes with the ball up 6, to close out the game. So it was forefront of my mind that we could not have ourselves in a situation where our offense wasn't good enough, because that's what's happening in those games. And so that's what I was really looking to. And so Seattle, the opponent, is an incredible opponent. I mean, they're playing great, and coming off that big win in Vegas, and they're hard to play against. What they're doing is really hard to play against, and they don't have a big 3, they have a big 4. And they're really, really good at what they do. So it's a terrific win for us.
Pivoting to the Zoom for a question from Brad.
Yeah. Hi, Coach. How are you? The New York Liberty has clinched one of the Commissioner's Cup final spots. Can you speak to how does it feel still being in the thick of things to clinch that other final spot?
Yeah, we're in contention, and that's what obviously this win kept us there. Players are particularly excited. We don't get a cut, but they do. So we're going to do all we can as coaches to try to get them a little more in their pocket. We know we got to go and win in Vegas, but today's win made that a meaningful situation for us. And then there's more games, but we can control what we can, and we're going to go there and see if we can't, stay in contention.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Thanks. Oh, you guys, don't want to forget that. Yeah, I asked the team if they're ever bored of this number, and they said a resounding no. For the 6th time this year, out of 11 games, we held our opponent below 40%. And since 2011, we won 156 games to just 7 losses when we do so.